Good morning and welcome to another edition of Top 5 Tuesday. My name is Jeff Dick, and today we are going to be focusing on something a little strange when it comes to the country music world, and that is the athletic ability of those behind the microphone. Yes, we are going to be looking at country music's top 5 athletes, all to celebrate today's birthday on a celebrity birthday calendar, one of the greatest athletes of all time, Bo Jackson. If you're my age, or if you're maybe a little bit older, you grew up in the 80s and 90s, we had a plethora of amazing athletes to look at. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Jerry Rice, Wayne Gretzky. But at the top of that heap was Bo Jackson, a superstar football player, a superstar baseball player, one of the greatest athletes this world has ever produced. But when it comes to country music, how many great athletes are there lurking behind the guitar? Let's find out and count down the top 5. Yes, there have been many athletes who've traded in the cleats, the bat, the field, the stick, and the ice for a chance at music stardom. We're going to count them down. My top 5 athletes in country music. At number 5, we've got the Hunter brothers, all 5 of them hockey players before they became musicians, 4 of the 5 getting to at least the junior level of hockey. Unfortunately for the youngest, Ty, he suffered a broken femur at a young age, and that put an end to his hockey career. But his brothers, all at least playing junior. You had Brock Hunter, who played in the SJHL with Kindersley, and here in the AJHL as a member of the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. His brother Dustin played 3 successful years with the Melville Millionaires in the SJHL, played a few games of pro as well in the CHL with San Angelo and Oklahoma. JJ, a very successful junior career with Kelowna and Prince Albert in the WHL, even made it all the way out to the American Hockey League, a step below the NHL, playing with such teams as the Toronto Marlies, the Edmonton Roadrunners, and the Manitoba Moose. And then you had Luke Hunter, very successful junior career with the Swift Current Broncos, 5 full seasons, one of the most games played guys in the history of the WHL, 315 WHL games. And after all of their junior and pro careers were done, they all had a chance to go back home and play together for a few years in the White Mud Hockey League, their local senior team there, the Shaunavon Badgers. They were big parts of that team in bringing them 3 straight championships in 2011, 2012, and 2013. But now music is the focus, and the Canadian country music world is better for it. The Hunter brothers, they come in at number 5. At number 4, we've got Carrie Underwood, who before her singing career took off, had quite the high school athletics career back home, where she was a softball player and a basketball player, as well as doing some cheerleading as well. So a very athletic young lady, but she said her singing kept interrupting her sports practices, so she made the choice to go with music, and man oh man was that the right decision. Carrie Underwood, one of the biggest stars in country music, but still takes up softball from time to time, competing in numerous country music charity softball games, and staying pretty close to the world of athletics by marrying NHL player Mike Fisher as well. So Carrie Underwood, she comes in at number 4. At number 3, we've got the legendary Charley Pride, one of country music's true barrier breakers, but in his younger days, it wasn't a singer that he dreamed of being. It was a baseball player, and he had plenty of chances to make his name on the field. He spent time with several minor league clubs over the years, also pitched for the Memphis Red Sox of the Negro Leagues. In 1953, signed a contract with the Boise Yankees. That was the farm team of the New York Yankees at the time. Spent a lot of time in the minor league system, and as he was working his way up, unfortunately, ended up getting drafted. That's right, he was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1956, so had to go and serve. When he came back, suffered a couple of injuries, and his baseball career was over. But he did hold one claim to fame in his baseball career. When he was down in the minors, he was playing with the Louisville Clippers. Himself and another player named Jesse Mitchell were traded to the Birmingham Black Barons for a team bus. And he said, Jesse and I may have the distinction of being the only players in history to be traded for a used motor vehicle. So he decided to go with country music, and that turned out to be a great decision for everybody. But Charley Pride, baseball pitcher extraordinaire, he comes in at number 3. At number 2, another Canadian country star in Chad Brownlee. Now, before he picked up that guitar, he was a steady stay-at-home defenseman for the BCHL's Vernon Vipers. His final season of junior hockey in the 02-03 season, very good year, 58 games, 8 goals, 16 assists for 24 points, and he was good enough to get noticed by the Vancouver Canucks. As a matter of fact, he was a draft pick that year, went 190th overall in the 6th round of that legendary 2003 NHL draft, a draft that has put forward so many future Hall of Famers and one great Canadian country music star in Chad Brownlee. After getting drafted, he spent 4 years at Minnesota State University, where he was captain his final season, but after suffering some injuries his first year of pro, decided he would turn to music, and that again turned out to be an incredible decision. Chad Brownlee, one of the biggest stars on the Canadian country scene, but it all started with a hockey stick and the Vernon Vipers. He comes in at number 2. Number 1 on our list of country music athletes, though, it's got to be Garth Brooks, and his athletic career started all the way back in high school. Of course, he was a football player. He also ran some track and field, and he was a baseball player, and baseball was a true love for Garth Brooks. In 1998, he launched his Touch 'Em All Foundation with Major League Baseball, and that also started a short career in baseball. He actually signed a contract with the San Diego Padres that year for spring training and would come back in 1999. Now, his performance on the field, not exactly legendary, did not get a spot on the regular season roster. However, the following season, in the year 2000, he signed with the New York Mets for a spring training stint. Again, another poor performance at the plate. He went 0 for 17, but again, helping to raise a lot of money for his foundation, and he came back in 2004 for a spring training stint with the Kansas City Royals, where he did get his first and only hit off of the pitcher Mike Myers during his final spring training game with the Royals. So Garth Brooks can retire from his pro baseball career knowing that he did at least get one hit off of a major league pitcher. But for taking part in spring training in 4 separate seasons for 3 different teams, Garth Brooks, number 1 on our list of country music athletes. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back again next week with a brand new edition of Top 5 Tuesday.